who perhaps missed Welcome to Huish or had forgotten something, or maybe an interested parent or guardian. So this won't be a very long video, it's just designed to give you a flavour of the key messages really. So the A-level, as you can see, consists of 7 modules. 4 of those are physical geography, 3 of them are human. And then for 20% of your grade, you choose a topic to do your independent coursework on, but I'll tell you more about that in a bit. So it's 80% exams, which is 7 modules, and 20% coursework. We kick off with a module called Global Governance, and Global Governance is human geography, and I'm just trying to give you a flavour of the sorts of things we look at with the images on the screen. We look at essentially global issues and what we're doing about them. So you can see there's a graphic about ocean pollution, there's a graphic about migration, there's the United Nations logo. It's all to do with what's going on in the world and what we're trying to do about it. And we start with that one because it's very topical. It changes every year depending, of course, on what's going on in the world. So it gives me the summer holidays to do some research and get up to date. Then we do some coasts, usually a very familiar module for most students. Not a repeat of GCSE, there is new stuff to learn, but quite a lot of familiarity for lots of people as well. Then we do a human geography called Changing Places, and it really is exactly what it says in the title. Places change over time. So for example, our city centres are changing thanks to COVID, thanks to online shopping. The countryside is changing because of changes in jobs. So it's all about that sort of stuff. And then we finish with a module that's largely revision, and that's water and carbon. And we look at biomes, for example, the tropical rainforest, we look at peat bogs, we look at deciduous trees, all of those kinds of things. So that's year 1. Year 2, we kick off with tectonics, quite often very popular among the students. Volcanoes, earthquakes and tsunamis, case studies, management, responses, why some kill more than others, all of that sort of stuff. Then we do weather and climate, which is essentially it's about why places around the world experience different weather conditions. It's also about climate change. We talk about droughts, we talk about hurricanes, we talk about the beast from the east, we talk about flooding, we talk about all sorts of things. I'm afraid to say the picture in the bottom left is a little bit of false advertising, because actually tornadoes are not on the syllabus, and I always use this as an opportunity to talk about that. They're not particularly well understood by meteorology because they're very good at breaking the equipment that we use to try and measure them, and because they're not very well understood, it doesn't seem fair to ask an A-level question about them. And then we finish with development in an African context, which is largely about the continent of Africa, issues within it, where those issues potentially have come from, what does the future hold for Africa, all of those kinds of things. And we leave that one till the end because there's quite a lot of revision within it, because, for example, part of the issues facing Africa are the climate. Some of the issues involve global governance. So it's nice for revision, and also students need to have opinions, and usually you need a little bit more maturity, a little bit more experience for that to be possible. So they're the 7 modules. That's just an overview of what to expect. And if I don't leave this slide up for long enough, obviously you can pause the video. We have had a slight shifty round. So in previous years, coasts and water and carbon would have been in different places. We're going to trial it this way around and see how we get on this year. Coursework then. So you do not start coursework until the end of year 1. And what we get you to do before the summer holidays is to work out what you're going to do, work out your method, write a risk assessment, work out your locations, all of that sort of stuff. So you have some planning time for a few weeks. Then we ask you over the summer holidays to collect your data, and that's supposed to take you between 10 and 12 hours. So it's usually a couple of days of your summer holidays to collect that. And then you come back in year 2, and alongside learning tectonics, you're also doing your coursework write-up. So there will be a little bit of lesson time, and also it will become part of your Huish 30. And usually the deadline for your coursework is the first Friday back after Christmas. So the first Friday of the January that you come back in year 2. Then it's heads down and the rest of the modules and revision. So we pick up revision more intensively once your coursework's handed in, because of course we're heading towards your final exams by that point. Field trips, so we usually take you out 3 times in year 1. We take you out for global governance, we take you out for coasts, and we take you out for changing places. It's usually a day trip for each of them to the local area, and then there is an opportunity for a residential field trip in the spring of year 2 is our normal option, but that is not compulsory. It's just there for those who would like to, essentially. And then I'll just finish here. These are the things that we usually get asked about the A-level. I've mentioned the coursework already. Maths and essays. Okay, I'm only telling you this to be honest and open and transparent. I'm not trying to put anyone off. There is a bit of maths in geography. It's not a ridiculous amount, but there is a little bit. If you find maths tricky, don't let this be the reason you don't take geography, because we can help you. I just think it's important that you know that there is a little bit of maths. And yes, there are essays, but we build up to those gradually. We start off with short answers, and then we do a lot of what's called scaffolding. So we give you quite a lot of support to gradually work up towards the longer essays. So again, don't let that be the reason you don't take the subject, but it's just something for you to be aware of. And then the bottom point is fairly self-explanatory. Okay, so hopefully if you had any questions, that's answered the vast majority.